Hello everyone, how are you doing? CJ Temo here. So excited to be coming to you from PrideInn Paradise in Mombasa. You had me right, PrideInn Paradise in Mombasa. I mean, such an amazing place to be. I was here just at the onset of COVID-19. That was in March, and everything was absolutely quiet. And I've come back in this season. I can tell you the truth, you know, it's bubbly, it's come back to life, and it's exciting to be here. The cuisine is amazing, the view is amazing, the water, I mean, you can't even exhaust the swimming pools in this place. And I'm not exaggerating, but I'm excited to be here today in a very special CJ Scott with the general manager of PrideInn Paradise, and Peggy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You're well? Everything is okay?
Everything is okay. We are excited. Like you said, this is a paradigm shift to what you left in March.
Yeah.
And we're so excited and grateful to God to see just the change and how Kenyans are resilient and how things have just all of a sudden changed on a positive note.
You know, when I was here in March, everything was quiet.
Yes.
You had
must
to
have been one of the last guests to check
yes,
out.
I was because I came in after the president had announced
Yes.
that most of the things were shut down.
Yeah.
And I left on a Monday. And by the time I was leaving, literally now everything,
Yes.
including churches, were shut down. That's the week the curfew
Yes.
was put in place.
Yes.
So I was among the last to be
Very
here.
last guest, yes.
Yeah.
And the place was dead.
Yeah. Did you see, even before I go through that journey, did you see this season, like in August, at that particular point when everything was just shutting down, did you think that you would recover in a season like this in August?
No, I must admit this is a very pleasant surprise
Right.
to all of us. And while efforts have gone in to promote, to shout about reopening, to encourage Kenyans to travel, I must admit there's a very divine intervention into it.
All right.
It's a very pleasant surprise. We didn't expect recovery to this. I mean, we woke up to 73% occupancy.
Wow.
We didn't think we were going to hit the 50% mark that fast.
Wow.
And it's been a month almost since we opened.
Right.
And this is great news for us. And truly we closed the hotel in a prayer meeting.
Wow.
We held a prayer meeting to close the hotel. We called an imam, we called a Catholic priest, and we called a Protestant pastor.
Right.
And we prayed, and you know what you see now is an answer to prayer, and we thank God for the people that came to help us in that closing ceremony.
But just talk about your journey.
Yeah.
You were in charge of the institution, then COVID hit. Nobody had foreseen COVID coming. Cancellations, everything shut down. You're supposed to steer this. You've got workers who are looking at you. So many things at the same time. At the initial stage, what was going on in your mind?
Oh my God. I think my leadership skills were put into serious test.
Right.
Because then it was not just leadership, but leadership through a crisis. And so
That's what I thought about when I was coming to have this.
Yes, it was real leadership through a crisis, and
Right.
it was every aspect of leadership tried.
Right.
You know, every function of management tried, because you had to plan the exit for the staff.
Right.
And I think for me, the most depressing bit was to see my staff leave, everyone. Until now, we were left with a skeleton staff, and everybody left until I decided I had nothing to do, and I also left.
Wow.
And it was a very depressing moment, because then we didn't know what. When are we ever going to come back? When is this going? We imagined the worst at the point.
Right.
And we had close to about 350 staff at that time, because business was peak. We were doing very well with the MICE business, with domestic, and we were optimal. We had quite a number of international conferences coming forth. So we had to match the occupancies with the staff levels.
Right.
And so everyone started going. And you had to explain to the staff, and you had to put them in a room and explain to them. It's a global thing. It's not about PrideInn Paradise.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it was quite depressing. But looking back to it, I can assure you I'm a better leader today because of having gone through this. because we managed, we didn't collapse, we didn't throw in the towel.
Right.
And now the curve is changing. Staff are now coming back in numbers and coming back. So eventually we're going to see everybody come back as business improves.
Let me just stick on that element of the staff. As they were leaving, some of them, and you knew that one day probably we'd get back and probably we'll have you back.
Yes.
What did you have to do within this season just to make sure that they're okay? To the point where if you need them at some point, you didn't know when, but at some point, if you ever need them, they would come back.
That's a very good question, and thanks to technology,
Yeah.
because we have a WhatsApp group at the top management level,
All right.
and then we have a WhatsApp group at the HOD deputy level,
Okay.
and every department has got a WhatsApp group.
Right.
So that made communication pretty easy. It got to a time where we encouraged all the HODs to pick up the phone and call everybody
All
in
right.
their department, just check on how they are, who is struggling more than who. And I remember one time I sat in the house and all I did was to call all my leadership team,
Wow.
from supervision to top management,
Wow.
to just assure them that we are praying, we are optimistic, things will come back to normal. And the fact that it was a global thing, it was not unique to us. We needed to be resilient, we needed to be strong, and more than anything, we needed to keep the hope alive. And I think one of the things that I must appreciate the managing director for is we got to a time and we decided, you know what, we need to feed our staff.
Right.
So despite the crisis, we organized to do food packages.
Wow.
On monthly basis. So we would have 2 kgs of wheat flour, 4 kgs of ugali, 4 kgs of rice, cooking oil, sugar, tea leaves, salt, just the basics that a basic home would have. And I think that went a long way. And we organized with the social distancing element, our staff were going to come and pick those packages.
Right.
And I mean, I remember I would be the one issuing and taking a photo with them and encouraging them and just giving them hope. Things. And I think that I really appreciate the owners of the company to have thought to support the staff throughout. And we'll check on who is struggling, who has been evicted because they haven't paid rent. And we'll give advance, something to support.
Wow.
And I can be honest with you, we never quite went on a total unpaid leave. As little as we got, we really appreciate, because we were supported throughout the pandemic.
All right.
And that has built extra loyalty to the company. And we're really, really grateful to the owners and to God as well.
All right. But now for you, because you're talking about how you were helping to support everybody else. You were being there emotionally for them, you're being there spiritually for them, you're being there sometimes physically for them. But you, as the person who is steering this wheel at this particular point, did you have any support system?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I went down for 3 days, let me admit. I had 3 very stressful days of just thinking about, because of course everything, I was at the center of it all.
Right.
And a lot of times when I meet guests, when I'm speaking to invite guests in a pre-conference brief, I always easily say I'm the captain of this ship, and I'm very proud to say that.
Right.
But that came into serious taste because I realized I'm at the steering wheel and this ship is almost sinking and everybody is looking at the pilot and wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
So I had 3 days of but after that, I remember I attended a virtual training by John Maxwell.
Okay.
It was almost a 3 hours virtual training on how to lead through a crisis. And I think I was able to pick up the pieces and I said, you know what, I have an opportunity to emerge at the end of this all to become a very effective person, and I have an opportunity to throw in the towel and have nothing to count. And I chose the better part of that. And I think that I have read so many books through the pandemic.
Okay.
I've attended so many trainings through the pandemic. I think I can tell you for a fact, I keep telling my friends, when I'm counting the years of my life, this particular year, I'll count it 10 times because truly I have learned things through the pandemic as a leader that I would never have known if this didn't happen.
If this didn't happen.
And let me answer you on the emotional support.
Right.
Let me tell you, you know, in a normal operation, this is a very busy hotel.
Yeah.
And my boss and I will have 5 minutes, 10 minutes meeting, and in that meeting there are phone calls, and I've got things to, so we never quite have intense. It's more meetings in between. But this particular time gave us an opportunity to sit on a table, to brainstorm on way forward, to really look at the business model, even for 4 hours in a room. So what did that do? We built a very good synergy. We understood each other better. We developed better working relationships. We were able to think soberly for the business.
Right.
And I tell you, I believe we are running one of the most efficient businesses now because of the business model that we built through the pandemic.
So you're talking about in the crisis as a leader, you had to be very intentional.
Yes.
Like you had to even look for causes. What
Yes.
causes there
Yes.
for a leader in crisis, instead of just folding everything, you know, folding they talk about folding the nets and saying, I'm giving up on this. Things are tough, we'll come back another day. You decided to use that period to empower yourself. Because when the leader is empowered, then the organization is empowered as well.
Sure. And the team is empowered as well. Because let me tell you, we have something we call PrideInn values for the company. Our PrideInn value for today is learning, growth, learning and development.
Right.
So everything I learned through the pandemic, I use an opportunity to put managers in a room and share with them. And it has made a world of a difference.
Right.
And so when a leader becomes better, the people he or she leads become better.
Right.
So because knowledge is so powerful, you can't afford to lock it in. You are going to let it out and to become better, because the more you let it out, the more you want to get in more, so then you can keep sharing. So this was a very fruitful time for me as a leader. I think I'm really, really, really grateful looking at the positive side of things.
All right. In the 4 weeks that you have opened, within this period, your guests, are they mostly local or?
Oh, purely local.
Purely local?
Yes, purely local. I must say that. Purely local. Not even from the region.
Wow.
Purely local.
So we are becoming better.
We are, yes. And this is how we should be.
Right.
Because we've been so reliant on international business. We spend a lot of money to fly out to go and attend fairs out there, exhibitions out there. We go and market abroad. But the materialization of the business takes a while, and it never comes in this magnitude. And so I think this has also been a very good moment for us to refocus inside. Without being super spiritual, you know, everything you need is in the inside. Because the first thing you need, what do you have? Because, I mean, this is a country, it's the only place that is locked.
Yes.
What do you have?
Right.
Only a jar of oil and some flour. So it's either you multiply that, you focus on what you have, so that it's multiplied, or you depend outside without knowing what is outside, and then you go without.
And you never really can control the ones that are external.
Thank you. But you have power in what is inside.
What is inside.
So actually what we did as a company, the second week of reopening, we flew to Nairobi, and we were there for a whole week. And we saw the top 25 companies, or more or less more than that. A whole week we visited clients, those who are willing to be visited. And those who are not willing were so scared about COVID. We just acquired a new hotel in Westlands, the PrideInn Azul. Beautiful resort. And we invited people. We said, we are not in the office, you are working from home. Please come for lunch and come and see our new hotel, the PrideInn Azul. I can't tell you the number of people we had for lunch.
Wow.
You know, our clients coming for lunch in our property.
How come I wasn't in that lunch? Wow.
So we've been very strategic. And such thoughts could only come. We were like, why didn't we ever think we can do sales blitz this way without going to people's offices, but inviting them to our sister hotels in Nairobi, buying them lunch and discussing business over the table. And you see, you got to have time. You got to go through a crisis.
Yes.
Necessity is the mother of invention. You got to go through a crisis to say, oh, there are so many ways I can market my hotel. I don't have to go knock in people's offices. I can actually invite people, have a meal with them and market. And so we took people through our protocols, what we've done to adhere to the MOH protocols. And people are convinced, and what you see here, a full hotel, almost 80% occupancy, is as a result of that confidence.
You talk about the switch that you made. Not everybody makes that switch so fast. Not everybody makes that switch at all. Just looking at the broader hotel industry, for those who didn't move as fast, do you think they will recover?
They will, but it will take a longer time.
A longer time.
Because you see, one of the biggest resources we have in life is not money, it is time.
Right.
And time elapses, time expires.
Yes.
So if you don't maximize on time, and you see trends are trends within a particular period.
Time. Yes,
And so when that time elapses, they cease to be trends.
Right.
And so is business opportunities. So when you don't move very fast, you also miss on your market share. Because everybody wants a slice of the national cake, which is the domestic tourism within Kenya.
Right.
So if you don't take time into consideration, there's so many hotels. Look what happened. We were hit hard by the Mara.
Yes.
The week people were going to Mara, we were not seeing this kind of occupancies because everybody was going to the Mara.
Right.
But right now, everybody wants the beach experience. And I remember, we used to do very attractive bush and beach packages. But we had a period where people were not interested in a bush and beach. Yeah. They wanted to do bush first.
Right.
And take a break and then now come to the beach. And we are grateful. We are grateful that we were able to move that fast, and we are grateful to see such a swift recovery. We must call it swift recovery. We are so grateful.
Talk about the packages that you have now.
Wow. The packages are so attractive until I actually want to check in with my family, but I realize I cannot do that.
I am a beneficiary. I was right here, I was right here courtesy of PrideInn Paradise.
Most welcome, and such a pleasure and a joy to be hosting you. Yeah, so we have we've partnered with the Bonfire and quite a number of travel agents. And we're also selling a lot directly as a hotel. So one of the things we were promoting the week we were in Nairobi, we're doing a very special rate of $67.50 per person sharing on full board.
Wow.
Which is breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And that rate actually comes with a soft drink during meals.
Yes.
So really takes if you budget from home, you can quite just pay for your holiday and have no extra cost, unless of course you decide to go to the spa and rejuvenate and unwind. So I think it's a very, very attractive rate. In normal times, we would never have thought of such a rate, and we've done it without compromising on the quality that we give to our guests.
I can.
Yes, and you were here before the pandemic, and now you're here after the pandemic.
Yes.
You can attest to the fact that we've done that without diluting the experience at all.
Like my breakfast today, I looked at the whole forest. I just quit.
Yeah.
Because nothing has gone down.
Yeah.
Nothing has gone down.
No,
the standards. Nobody can tell that there was a crisis somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
One of your biggest things has always been the conference center.
Yes.
Are you getting any conferences already?
Yes, we are. By Wednesday this week, we had hosted about 18 conferences since we reopened.
All right.
But pretty small ones, because we were used to 500, 250. We have a 2,500 conference facility here. Yeah. We pride ourselves to being the only beach convention center in Africa where you have a beach convention by the ocean. And so the MICE business was our bread and butter, really. We were enjoying very huge conferences. But because of the social distancing aspect, that is impossible. So we're taking small conferences of 40 below. Actually, the biggest I think we've hosted is 45.
All right.
And therefore now because you have to factor in the social distancing. Yes, but it's not where it was. We are quite optimistic with time. We will get to go back to that because, we have the investment, we have the product, we have the space. So, yeah.
Children. Let's talk about children. And
Yes.
they're playing even in the background.
Yes.
A lot of people would fear going out on holidays, especially in the initial stages because of the children.
Yeah.
How are you making sure that the children are safe in this place? For families that want to go out and they're not very sure whether they should go out with their children. Yeah.
I'm sure you've walked around and you've seen even at the poolside, we have the social distancing.
Yes, yes.
We have a team of about 10 staff who take care of the children.
Wow.
Because the children, we are a family hotel.
Yeah.
And because of the themed water park, we are the only resort with a themed water park called the PrideInn Aqua Safari.
Right.
And we have about 10 staff who man just specifically take care of the children. And we have the infants, we have the quite the ones that are not so small, and then we have the teenagers.
Right.
So we have people who are specialized for any age, every age group of the kids. So they have their own dining area.
Right.
We feed them at 6 o'clock, so then the parents can have an easy time.
Okay.
And even if they accompany their parents in dinner, they are not eating, they're just there as a family to keep them occupied.
All right.
So feeding them earlier, make sure that they maintain social distancing with the rest of the people.
Okay.
At the pool side, as you can see, the spacing, we are not allowing them to crowd in one place, and we have staff taking care of that aspect.
Right.
And I believe the reason you see the increase in numbers is because we have instilled the confidence to the parents that we are taking care, and we are telling parents, do not allow your children to interact with children that you don't know.
Okay.
So at any given time, you find children in the same family are swimming together. They're in their own space.
All right.
Because we have the space. The pools are too wide. I mean, you can't quite...
Right. And you know, the thing that I have felt, even right here, the protocols for observing during the COVID-19, they're in place, but they're not interfering with the hospitality. You have somehow managed the social distancing, you have managed to keep the security, the social distancing, all of that, without somebody feeling like something has been taken away from them. It is so soft that I'll still feel like I'm in a good hotel without feeling necessarily like I'm not even supposed to walk close to this person. How have you managed to just blend that, what you're required to do for COVID-19 and not lose the touch of hospitality?
You know, I keep telling people that hospitality is not a job, it's a calling. It's inbuilt in your system.
All right.
That even in a crisis, you also find yourself hospitable.
All right.
That if you went and found two people fighting in a hotel scenario and you got to stand in between them, you have to stand in between them and still be hospitable.
Right.
You can't quite separate two people fighting and lose the hospitality touch. Because anybody who has been called to work in the hospitality industry, they got something that is hospitable about the way they talk and the way they treat people.
Right.
And having said that, we also had training sessions for our staff.
Okay.
And we told them that there's a very thin line between enforcing the protocols and making a client feel we are more for the protocols than for them.
Clients.
So
Right.
we are to strike that balance and
Right.
help a client know if we tell you to put on a mask, it's not for the MOH, it's for your own safety.
Yes, yes.
And it's not even for the other person, it's for you.
Right.
So when you make it that personal, and that is personalized service in itself.
Yeah.
I'm personalizing, I'm telling you to put on a mask, not for me, not for the other person. I care for you, you are my guest.
True.
Please put on a mask, I really want you safe.
Yeah.
And that will go a long way. As opposed to when you tell me, please put on a mask for the sake of the people around you. I come to you and I care for you so much. Please put on a mask because you don't know the other person passing by, and you know. So that has helped us to make sure people know. And even when we tell them to line up for anything and they have to keep social distancing, even at the reception, and that has gone a long way to help people. It's for them, not for anybody else.
All right.
So that is personalized service there.
And I appreciate that because right from the entry, right from the gate, I just felt that.
Wow.
It's amazing
Good to hear that.
hospitality.
Good to hear that.
You've done a great job.
Thank you so
through
much.
this
And
season.
I give it to the team.
Yeah, you've all done a great job. And I would like to ask everyone else, which is my camera right now, I'd like to ask everyone else, If you've been home for like 5 months, you know, the pressure that has been on you, you've been in the house with your children, with your family, with your friends, and sometimes you'd feel stressed out. It's time for you to get out. Just come out over here. You had the package. It's only $67.50.
Yes, per person sharing on full board.
On full board.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Who takes 3 meals in a day in this day and age?
That's true.
Yeah.
So please spend some time with yourself and your family away from the other environment. Just come and unwind in this place. You will have the best quality of hospitality. And as we just wind up, your last word on this camera.
I'd love to tell Kenyans to come out. The way to beat this thing is to just work against it.
Right.
Come out of the house, come to Pride in Paradise, breathe in fresh air. We have a beautiful, beautiful resort. More than anything, we are a family resort. We care about family. Protocols, we have adhered to them, and we've made, you can hear the noise at the background. Kids are having fun and so much fun. And we've got everything for everybody. We got everything for ladies. We'll pamper you at the spa. We got everything for men. We have a sports bar. We have a gym. You can take a walk on the beach. We have something for the teens. There's something called Jerusalem Dance. You can dance it all day long. We have a team that is training people on doing that. And you know what? We've made traveling more fun, even during this crisis. So please come. You will never regret. This is the captain of Pride in Paradise, Beach Resort and Spa, talking to you.
And of course, you can find Pride in Paradise on social media. You'll find it on Instagram, you'll find it on Facebook. You can check out there. Keep on checking out the packages for PrideInn as well. Also, subscribe to CJ Temo on YouTube as well. This has been In the Chamber with Peggy, the GM of Pride in Paradise, right here in Mombasa. Till the next time.